Okay, we are live. Welcome to Tidbits and Scribbles. So tonight I kind of plan to talk about sales because it seems like everybody needs sales. Everybody wants sales. I want sales.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be
I
cool.
had two or three once.
Once.
Usually to be honest, I usually get more sales at a con or even a farmer's market where I'm
Mhm.
face to face with somebody. I get
Mhm.
more sales than I get online.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
don't know. I've played with keywords, algorithms, reviews. I don't know what that is. Other than maybe it's personal because I'm there. I
I
don't
think
know.
so.
That's a large part of it, I think.
Yeah, I think charisma really does uh,
Mm-hmm.
boost
Right.
sales, especially in person and not just oh wow, they're fascinating to listen to in a chat show, but when you've got somebody right there in front of you and they just kind of light up a room
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
like
Mm-hmm.
you do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And as we were discussing on from the desk of a small publisher, whatever Joe's thing is, you don't just go, "Hey,
Yeah,
you want to buy my book?"
yeah. Or sit in a corner and ignore everybody that walks by you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe was saying how he made a point of knowing where everybody was at or what different things was at, and if someone would go by and go, "Are you looking for something? Oh, that's over there, and that's over there." And the people would end up talking to him, and sometimes, and
Mhm.
maybe 30-40% would end up buying at least one item.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
Hi, Hunter.
Yeah, it does help to know the what the rest of the folks have there in a vending situation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So
even
yeah.
that. Yeah, that
Oh
even
well,
works when
my
you're
stuff's not for you.
right.
Then what you're talking about, that's right over there. That
Mm-hmm.
you see the nice lady.
Uh huh.
Uh,
And that works for whatever you go do. That works for
yeah.
just the romance book signings. If you know your genre and who writes what, that works for farmers markets when you're there and you're, hey, who's got the watermelons this time? Well, it's the
Mm-hmm.
guy down at the end or whatever.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter where you are or what you're selling. If you know your crowd, then you can help the people in the crowd, and they're going to be, oh, that guy was really nice. Let me talk to him, see what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Well, something that's also helpful is once you start building your community, and like we were at SalukiCon this last weekend in Carbondale, Illinois, at Southern Illinois University, and there were about a dozen or so of our people there, our
Mm-hmm.
authors. And it's like, well, I don't have that kind of book. You want all horror? Well, go over to see Rick Bradley. You want romance? Hey, Amy Hale, that's her. I'm pointing right at her. I can see her right through the crowd. Or check with Sean Delaney behind me, or Lacey Lemke across the room. And by the same token, they would send people towards me because
Mm-hmm.
somebody would say, I want
Right.
something indescribably weird. Well, look for the guy in the fez.
Well,
You
and
can't go wrong.
that's another point too is okay, I'm going to know my crowd, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm also going to know if that crowd has got somebody that is looking for what I write and they didn't send them my way on purpose.
Mhm.
I'm going to note that. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
keep that in my little brain and say, okay, all right, next time I'm not going to direct traffic to you. No hard feelings, but
Oh, yeah.
if it's not tit for tat, I'm not playing.
Right. Right.
Understood. I agree.
Hi,
Hey,
Skunk.
Skunk.
Hey,
He wants
Skunk,
to
how
be
you doing?
occupied. Skunk has a long drive home. He wants us to keep him occupied.
Yeah.
Uh,
He's still on the road? Holy
Yes,
cats.
Yeah.
yes, he's still on the road.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Poor boy.
coffee.
Long
Well,
ass day.
Lots
I
of coffee.
so
Yeah.
I carry my author's cards with me, and like I was at the bank getting change for the book show, and Taylor goes, "Oh, you're going to have a rummage sale?" I go, "Oh no, I'm going to have a I'm going to a bookstore show, and I
Mm-hmm.
need change." And she's like, "Oh, really?" And I could give her my card, and I wrote my phone number on the back because that's like, this is special just for you.
Yes.
Phone number on the back. I said, go to lulu.com, check my stuff out, and if you like it, um, save yourself at least some shipping and give me a text, tell me what you want, and I'll bring it to you.
Mhm.
I did that at the restaurant a couple months ago, and the lady took my card. She says, "Oh, I might give this to my daughter. She likes what you write. I kind of prefer the strange stuff." And she goes away, and Carl's like, "You should have sent her my way." And I said, "Hey, I'm there to sell my books. You should have spoken up."
Yep, you got to step up. You got to step up your game.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't want to poach your customer. That was
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, sure.
I'm here for you, Carl. I'm here to help.
Skunk says, no, I did get to go home for a second, but then I got called in to make an emergency trip down to Atlanta.
Wow.
Yeah, fun.
That's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back, and that's a quick trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does suck. Hopefully they're paying you well for that.
Yeah, and hopefully you'll get home before we go off the air.
Yeah, no kidding. That's my husband's working some overtime lately, and yeah, it sucks that he's not getting home and he's working these long hours, but the paycheck will be nice.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Lindsay's not objected to the fact that I'm going to be working some 12-hour days here for the next few weeks. And I'm going, well, the extra 4 hours every day that I work, those 12 is overtime.
I was going to say, I have to say, I asked him, I said, so why are you working these, and it's only like 2 or 3 hours after his normal shift. I said, what, is there a lot of stuff going on at work? What are you doing? He says, honestly, I'm just trying to make some extra money so that you can keep doing what you want to do.
Oh, that's
good.
That's
nice.
sweet.
I was like, I take back all the horrible stuff I ever said about you. Sometimes.
At least till tomorrow.
Yeah,
Tomorrow.
at least till the next time he upsets you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next time he tells me, no, I can't have what I want.
Wow. To follow up on something Donna said, she said something about taking her book, her cards with her. That's something to consider. Is making yourself some author cards. Probably, the ones you want to carry every day are probably as generic as you can make them, because as Donna said, writing something on the back or writing something on there helps for those chance meetings.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
personal moment to remember you.
Yeah, a fancier card is great for when you're at a show and people know why they went there. But like she said, meeting somebody at the bank or at a restaurant, they weren't at the book show, so they don't know you're an author. So, have that on there. But writing your information on the back of what you talked about will help them to remember. We went to a SilCon one time and we got a card from somebody, and it was fairly generic for the show.
Mm-hmm.
And so that the corollary of that is, if you're going to a show, maybe have a card that is a little bit more detailed. Because we got home, I was like, why did we talk to this guy? He does something for cars. And that's, well, Donna reminded me, that guy did some sort of other thing too. And I'm like, well, what? I don't know. Well, then why am I keeping this guy's card? So, leave yourself some room even on those cards to write something if you have to.
Yeah. And I had 3 or 4 cards, and there was one person down there who had interviewed me about my ghost interaction with my ancestor, and I was wanting to get on the podcast to listen to it later. And I'm like, none of these is the name of the group that he told me.
Right.
Yeah. So we couldn't find the show.
Yeah. It was a lost connection.
Yeah.
With business cards, I come from a generation that it always seemed like the only person that handed out a business card was that sleazy guy selling vacuums. So for me, I was like, I don't really want to get business cards. I don't want to walk around handing them out to people.
Sure.
I've gotten around that because if I go out to dinner or I go to the post office and nobody's there, but there's a table with flyers and such, I'll just leave a card. They'll get it. Maybe it won't get picked up. Maybe it'll get tossed in the garbage. But perhaps someone will be there where I was and pick that card up and check it out.
Yeah.
Yep. Some conventions that I go to have what they call a freebie table. The
Yeah.
any attending publishers will just bring a box of books that they're going, oh, hey, this is advertising, so it goes on the expense
Right.
account.
Right.
And they'll leave a stack of books there. There'll be flyers for other conventions, and other people will set down their author card, business card, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll put a stack of the cards, the generic cards that I made up for the magazine. But it, those, if anybody emails me from that, that's
Right.
fine.
Yeah.
It has my name, and if you're enterprising enough, you can go ahead and either Google or look for me on the any of the book sales sites that
Right.
one would frequent.
Mm-hmm.
Trying not to name that one,
Mm-hmm.
and other than that, if somebody comes up and go, hey, where can I find your stuff? I can
Yeah.
flip one of those over and write on the back.
Right.
Yeah, or something
Michaela?
I've used are QR codes. I have a bookmark that Cookie made for me very recently. And one side is my author stuff, and a QR code that sends the person right to my Amazon authors page, and the flip side sends them to my YouTube.
Very good. Yes.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So if they can't remember why they got it, they just shoot that QR code. Oh yeah, it was that guy in the glasses and the fez who waves his arms around a lot. So,
Well, I think your bookmark has your photo on it too.
yes, it does. Yes.
So that helps. That
Yes.
helps tremendously because people remember a little better.
Oh yeah.
And the QR codes are free. I mean, you can find all kinds of sites that will turn your website. You type in your URL for your website, and then it turns it into a QR code for you.
Exactly.
Well, it's like
I have a list of those somewhere. So
Yeah, so do
Yeah.
I.
yeah.
well, that's like most business cards already have your phone number on there.
Mhm.
I left mine off because
Mhm.
I'm like, it's okay. You're in my little club now, so here's
Yeah.
my phone number,
Mhm.
Right.
and I find people react to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tend not to put my personal phone numbers on a
Mhm.
card. I will put a URL or
Mhm.
two,
Sure.
depending on which kind of card it is, and my name, and this is the name of what it is that I'm doing right then.
Mhm.
And then after that, I try and you do want to preserve your privacy somewhat.
Yeah.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Cool.
So being one of those situations where you actually write your phone number down on the back of the card is
Mhm.
preferable to just handing out a card that has your phone number.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to
You
have
know
a-
the person that you did it for too. But you had
Yeah.
touched on something earlier, Dan. You'd said enterprising. A lot of the people that I've dealt with just recently they want you to do it for them. They want the easy way. They want the way that like you've said before, Brian.
Yeah.
They want to jump into this and be a multimillionaire because they've got one book.
Mhm.
And that's all they've ever done. But aren't they supposed to be millionaires? They've written a book. No, that's not how it works. So then when they get to griping about, I don't have sales, I'm not getting sales,
Mm-hmm.
and you say, well, what have you done to up your sales? What have you tried? Oh, well, nothing. Just griping on Facebook, griping on Instagram. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you have to be a little bit industrious to get out there, learn some stuff. And the thing is, there's so much free info out there. Just tonight, I came across, I think it was BookBub, that had 116 ways to market your book.
Wow.
116 ways, people. Come on.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
on
Yeah.
BookBub. Like, it's right there. It's free.
Just
Yeah.
buy it off the rack, Jack.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Make a new plan, Stan.
Yeah.
and you sometimes don't even have to go out of your house to do that. When I did the Munzie book, okay, I had to update this every 6 months when I was first doing it because they were changing so much. So
Yeah.
Uncle Carl's Guide to Munzie kept getting changed all the time. I would upload an old version in PDF format to a Facebook group of people that, are trying to learn how to Munzie. And I put it on there. I said, hey, it's free over there. Go get it. If you want the most up-to-date version, it's on Lulu. But here's last year's model, so to speak, for free. And I got sales from that because people said, oh, okay, I like that, but there's some stuff that's not in there now. I need to go get the newer
Yeah,
one.
you need to go get the most recent re-release.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as an ebook, it has a better turnover. I don't think many people have it printed out, but if you have, for some reason, which is great, thank you. But people can get it as an ebook and read it on the road as they're going to an Munzie adventure.
As long as they're not driving, yes.
Right, exactly. But that has helped by going into those forums, answering questions for people, and then saying, oh, by the way, you can get more information from that free book over there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can get on Facebook forums and talk to people and maybe help them out and get them. Well, kind of like you said, if they see you like at a convention, you sell more books. Will you sell more books online if you actually are visible online? You can't just write something, throw it up to some publishing site and say, there it is. I'm just not going to wait.
Now. Okay, it should. You're right. It should. If you got your algorithms correct, if you got your categories correct, if, luck.
Maybe. Yeah. But you have to sell it. You have to promote it like you do a regular book. You have to get out there and say, hey, here I am. Do you have any questions?
Right.
Boom.
Well, one thing that really gets me, I used to say it kills me, but it really gets me is that those little libraries that you'll see throughout, those are free. Stop, get a book, or stop and put a book in there.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't write kid stuff, which is mostly what that is.
Yeah.
But there's other stuff in it. There's Stephen King books in it, and so put your book in it.
Yeah.
I've done that.
If it's really graphic, maybe put it in a little Ziploc bag that, says something about rated R or something, or mature audience. Yeah. Because if it's got pictures on it, kids are likely going to look at it and want to take it home.
Oh, sure. If you put a label on it that says adult content, somebody's going to get it really quick.
Yeah.
Really fist fights to see who gets to take it home. Yeah.
Absolutely. But it's
The
one
cover
of those
will
free
catch on fire.
opportunities.
They'll snatch it up so fast.
Yeah. But it is. It's one of those free opportunities that some people just, they go on by, and it's like, no, stop. Put your stuff in there.
Yeah, I've done that too. A couple occasions. I did a show that was an outdoor show, and I have terrible luck with the weather. And some of my books, they weren't ruined, but they were not in pristine condition.
Right.
So I found one of those libraries, and I stuck some of these books in there. They're still readable, and what do you want for free? So I'm hoping that they get passed around, which is to me is almost as good as a sale. It makes me feel happy when people pass my book around. So.
Yeah. Well, and another thing, like with those libraries that I learned, ironically, from when I went and had my surgery on my spine, nurses are readers. They have a lot of downtime where they can't go anywhere, but they also aren't doing anything.
Right.
So a lot of them will read on their phones. They'll pull up a book and read it. So if you can tell them, hey, I have ebooks, or even it's expensive, but drop off a copy of your book when you go to the doctor. And especially like there for a while for me, I was going to different doctors, specialists. So it was a different office every time I went. So shoot, I could have put out 6-7 books in different offices. Now, maybe that won't work for everybody because like I said, it is expensive depending on your cost of your book.
Yeah.
But it gets the word out.
Yeah.
And
They
nurses
will talk to each other. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Brian, you were saying you wound up doing certain number of shows in inclement weather. You could go to Dollar Tree and buy yourself a carton of those $1 ponchos and a free raincoat with every
There you
book.
go.
That's a thought. That's a great thought, actually. And I've got a van now that we might have a box in there, full of ponchos and maybe free candy. Who knows?
Yeah, find out who the manufacturer is. Order it direct. Maybe you'll get a discount price.
Yeah, that'll work. That's a good idea. And Dan, that's the sort of thing, that a lot of people don't do is they, aside from not even talking about their own work, which everyone should, they don't come up with ideas like that, crazy ideas like that. Like free pen with every purchase. And I've gotten like my bookmarks. I've been to some events where people. Skunk, it's a great idea. You have to spell free candy correctly on the side of the van. So that's and park by the river. Okay. But anyway,
Skunk had the same vision I had. This crazy man in a fez saying free candy.
or even for free raincoats.
Yeah. Reminds me of my theater days. Campaign.
Romance authors could give away free condoms. I mean, somebody's going to get fired up.
Those things are good for every conceivable occasion.
We give away nice, fancy,
or some inconceivable occasions.
Do not give away the other thing. Woo!
I'm having the vipers.
No, but people could I was about to say my bookmarks. Some people leave their bookmarks like on the table, and sometimes you go to shows and people are just running around. There you go. See, now Skunk is going to join my marketing crew any day now. We've got a gig for him. We'll get him out of that truck eventually. But no, I used to just put stuff out on the table, and some people at some shows, especially when there's a high admission price. If I mention dino porn, I can only imagine where the comments are going to go. So thank God I'm not going to. But anyway, people will go around like it's a scavenger hunt and just grab whatever's free.
Yeah.
And that 2 weeks from now they're going to be looking at stuff. Well, what the hell is this? And there goes the money you spent on that. So I now don't put out my cards at certain types of shows.
Yes.
Now, if it's a book show, I know that's different. But if I'm doing a mall show, this stuff comes with the purchase. And look, here's this nice two-sided bookmark. We'll toss that in there. Well, look, here's a business card. We'll toss that in there. Here's a little flyer for my next book coming out in July, The Terrors, soon to be available from Rising Tide. And also, you have to get used to slipping in the message wherever you can. And sometimes you can't be real subtle about it, available on Amazon. Yeah. So, and, don't be afraid to play your credits too. Such as my hopefully soon to be award-winning story, Snow Ambition, available on Amazon from Bobby
voting
Nash.
Still going on?
Sorry?
Is voting still happening?
No, voting has been closed
Over?
for a couple weeks. So I think the judges are probably going through the votes and figuring out how to sift mine out of there. So, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Drinking heavily while they count the entries.
Probably, yes.
Yeah.
Somebody was out soliciting votes for me.
Probably, definitely.
And like you say, you have to know your venue. The local library does an author's fair every year.
Yeah.
Carl and I have stopped going because there's no adults coming to this.
Right.
There's only children because they've made a game. They call it a scavenger hunt, but they give them a little cards and have all the authors sign it for them, and then they get a prize.
Right.
And that's all they're interested in. They're not interested in your book, even if they were old enough to be interested in my books.
Right.
But
it's marketed to a younger crowd, and
It's
a very younger crowd.
Come into the library because they know they have a library at school. They want them to know there's a library in the town. Well, that's great and all, but that's not. You can't bring authors in for that and tell them they can sell books. They're not going to happen.
It makes it rather difficult. Yeah.
Right.
And you're really not getting any notoriety either.
Yeah.
because there's no adults paying attention to you. And I'm not talking, about my mature books. I'm talking about there was a gentleman there who has been our local weathercaster for 30, 40 years. He wrote a book about it. I got it. It's a great book. Kids aren't going to be interested in that. They're not going to be interested in the I think there's about 10 different history books, local history. Very interesting. Kids under 15 don't
No, they
care.
don't care. No.
No, it's true.
You mentioned pins, and that's something that, yes, you could give away with the purchase of a book if you can get those pins cheap enough.
Okay.
And it really does help with your branding and with recognition.
Kayla Jade.
One of my favorite pens right there.
We went out to eat the other day, as Donna said, to this fundraiser, and it was raising funds for the school. But I had a couple people who said, "I don't have your latest book." Well, they didn't have the Madagascar Cheerleader of Calhoun County, but they also didn't have
Available on Lulu.com.
Lulu.com.
Hashtag always promote, Carl.
Returns, which is the sequel. So they said, bring those along. And I said, okay, I will. And I thought, well, I might have to make change. So I brought my change bag that I had in Peoria. Okay. And I'd thrown some pins in there. One of them was Michaela Jade pin. So when I had somebody said, do you have a pin I can borrow? I said, yes, you can borrow this one. And she said, oh, I've heard of her.
What? No way.
It was Donna's friend, and she had watched you. She had watched you on one of the shows or something, or heard you, or saw you in the humor group, and recognized your name. And was like, "Oh, yeah, I know her."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See.
Now the pin idea can backfire if you if you have special pins made that are with the theme of your book.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was an interesting.
The Thorazine Dreams ink pen.
Yeah.
You could probably get arrested for toting one of these around.
Well,
You might not wind up going to jail, but you will wind up in handcuffs.
Right. At one of these romance book signings that I went to, a lady wrote about her characters were in a hospital, nurses and doctors. Her pins actually looked like they had blood in them. They looked like syringes, and they looked like they had blood.
Yeah.
It was like you could get mistaken real easy.
Yeah, I have a friend that wrote a horror book that was giving them out for a while.
And I totally would understand that, Skunk, because you're not an idiot like the ones that they're trying to bring in.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did I say that?
Yeah. When you go to the library, you want to be alone. And when they do these events, it's usually a mom bringing in the kids and, trying to let them burn off energy. And it's like, that's not the place for that.
Yeah.
If they're readers, yes, bring them in. But it's not for playtime.
If you're looking for free babysitting, the library is not exactly the place you want to go, unless you're one of those introverted kids like I was, where you could just drop me off at the library and you'd have to drag me out at the end of the day.
Same here.
Is it time to close? I have to go now? Oh.
Oh, Lord, now I've got to go home.
Yeah. Just getting
started. I got to go to school tomorrow. That's even worse.
Yeah. Or my book reader who lives upstairs, that she's only got 100 and some odd books. She thought she had more. And now, of course, she has a goal. I'm almost to 200. I should get to 200.
You haven't shown her a picture of our library yet, have you?
No, I haven't. No, she's already got plans to knock out walls. I don't need any more.
She needs 204 more. Hashtag always promote. And that's another thing is, like, people, like what we're doing right now, just talking to people and talking to each other. This is free, people. We're not charged. Well, I say that this is free. I do pay for a professional channel for my broadcasting, but it's the idea that we've got a bully platform. Why don't more people use their own bully platform?
Right.
And I sell a number of books online, simply because for whatever reason people like me. You know,
Yeah, we're still trying to figure it out.
when you do get back to me if you do suss that out, because it's a total mystery to me some days. But no, it's like,
It's
just
the
make a
ice
game
cream
of
van
it.
down by the river.
It is.
Yeah, and now ponchos, condoms, and candy. Yeah, you bet. And dino porn. But but make a game of it. People expect me now to be in the middle of a broadcast and then suddenly cart out my books and start talking about how they're available from Amazon, or they can go to risingtide.pub and sign up for my free monthly newsletter. It comes out the first of every month. You get used to that rap. And I think some people actually get disappointed when I don't do it. It's like, is Brian sick or something? Is he feeling all right? He's not promoting himself.
He's on decaf again, isn't he?
The danger of that is very slim, Dan. I wouldn't bet for that one. So,
and
even right now,
if you don't want to go live, you can record something.
yes,
Mhm.
oh yes,
and put it on YouTube or Facebook later, and edit it, make it nice, make whatever you need to do.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't think that your personality is vibrant enough, not everyone is BKM, so we can't all.
God.
I don't think I'm going to have that problem myself.
Yeah, there are people
Don't
that
be
struggle
like
with
Brian.
If you don't, you need a team. You need somebody else with you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
I've
in
been
the
thinking
romance book
strongly.
world, they do that all the time. They hire a PA, and the PA does all the marketing for them, or most of it. And then spend time to step back from social media, and they can actually get writing done, especially because a lot of them have other outside jobs. Like I just cannot be on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and everything else like I need to promote my books, because I'm trying to make a living so I can get to the books.
Right.
It's a circle.
I've had Joe Doug tell me I should improve the little commercial that I made for some of my books and start playing it during the show occasionally.
Oh yeah.
Duh.
Well, and that's like the book trailer I had Skunk make for me. Now I have another book coming out. So now I need him to make another one, but I haven't gotten him any images. It's on, the ball is in my court and I've dropped it.
Right.
So it's just one of those things that, like, on the list of author things to get done in a day, which one am I going to pick? Okay, let me finish this book that I've got to my critique partner and she's yelling at me about, but she's yelling because it's really good and I've left her on a cliffhanger. Because I said, I just have the last scene to finish up, go through it. I figured it'd take her a couple of days because she's also working on her own books. Oh, no. She got it done tonight.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Days.
I had one of my editors today ask me when the second chapter of a book she's editing for me came out today. And, at the time, I'm editing a book right at the moment and realizing a huge error that forces me to rewrite a great portion of it, while someone else is in my DMs saying, I've got this book project I need you to write for me, and I don't want to. And then there's like all these other tiny little chips away at your time, which is why
for a phenomenal fee.
Yes, Brian doesn't do a whole lot of work for free anymore, so unless he wants to. So yeah, I know, Skunk. Yeah, Cindy is a vital part of Nevermind the Furthermore. She really, and we love her. We really do.
Yeah, we absolutely did. We were like, wait a minute, Cindy's always here.
Yeah, she had a terrible week last week was what it was, because I reached out and was like, Cindy, is everything okay? And because for those of you who don't watch Nevermind the Furthermore, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern on my YouTube channel. Hi guys. But no, she comes on during her work break and promotes for me and everybody here. Yeah, and she is phenomenal. And and it's just the idea that she could be resting for 10 minutes, getting coffee, whatever. And she comes out and does this for all of us. It's like, how can you love her enough? And no, it's not you, Grant, because I ignore you. Anyway,
getting called out here, getting called out.
None but love, Grant. None but love.
It's all good.
Well, see, my editor has it easy because I've got a backlog.
Yeah.
I've only just now.
That you have it easy because the editor has to get his shit together so you can get your shit together.
Well, Yeah, but he also knows when I go, hey, it's
You're in
time to put
headlights,
out
look
another
there.
book. He knows he better do it. But yeah, I just put out the 4th of the Hunter's Ridge series in the name of the Father.
Mm-hmm.
There's already 8 books of that written.
That's awesome.
That is cool.
Beth
That's
and
cool.
Hill, there's already 7 of those books written. And I've got probably 25, 30 other ones that can be published. So basically, I'm sitting back on my laurels going,
Yeah, just wait.
it's time to put on another one. Of course, then I drive him crazy because he's got a place in Dropbox.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all in there. And about once every 6 months, I go back through and I go, okay. And I read every one of them and find something to change in every one of them.
Yep.
And he'll get a notice, she's changed something in
This
in
file
Dropbox or
has been
something.
modified.
Yeah, no kidding. So Hunter wants to know what we do if we're looking for a long-term editor.
Okay.
Buy them cheesecake.
I married him.
For me,
I married mine.
somebody that will work with me, because there are in my stories sometimes before anybody edits it but me, I'll go off on a tangent, but it works for the story. So if you can work with my storylines.
Mm-hmm. Hunter, also, if you can find someone who knows that particular genre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's very important.
That is always
It's very important. Like Skunk Rocker here had a manuscript that he was passing around at HalloCon, and I was like, I really couldn't help you because I don't know that genre, but Michaela did and Donna did. So
I didn't genre enough to be a good editor for it, but I was a good reader for it.
Yeah. Well, you could also edit though for like grammatical things, and I could do that too. But I would not be good for a plot editor or.
And that's what I was commenting on
in that genre.
Yeah, and that's where I let him down because it was grammatically almost perfect. So there was nothing I could comment on except how good the script was.
Right.
Yeah. Whereas I'm kind of a detail guy, and I do developmental editing for certain professional publishers. And I went through and I said, "Now this is great. This is great. Now this could be punched up a little. You should expand this because this is amazing, and you got so much potential." And that was where I was at. But I agree with Donna. This thing could not have been more flawlessly put together. As far as sentence structure, spelling, punctuation, it was one of the easiest scripts I've ever read, and a real delight too.
Yeah.
But anyway, for a long-term editor, also for myself, I've got a few people that have done editing for me. I need to have a personal connection with them and respect their abilities and have them respect me at the same time. Although, that's kind of out the window since my wife is one of my editors. Yeah. And, this is the same woman, though,
who... not afraid to hurt your feelings either.
That's true. That's a good point. That
is critical.
Yeah.
Because I've had an editor that was like, well, this is good. I'm like, no. I want to make it great. I want to make it something you cannot put down. Mm-hmm. Good is not good enough.
Right.
Now, if good is good enough, okay. Right. But for me, it's not. So my critique partner is that one that says, no. You can't, no. So then I give it off to, honestly, Hunter, I have 4 editors. Because each one of them is looking for something different. Mm-hmm. And I know that I'm going to get different feedback from each one of them, which is something I need because I see what's in my head. I don't see what's on that page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's useful to get maybe beta readers, Hunter, which are people who, once you have edited that script to the best of your ability, you hand it off to them. And then what I do is I follow it up with, I have like a 10 to 15 10 to 15 questions. Like, do you know who the protagonist is? Can you relate to them? Can you relate to the antagonist? Is there any place that's slow? Do you think there's something I rushed through and should expand? What did I forget to ask you? Things like that. And the first thing I put at the top of that form is, don't worry about my feelings.
Nope, this isn't about feelings. Yeah.
It isn't a thing about feelings, and I've got enough emotional armor from having been criticized by my wife and certain other professionals that
She is a dear, dear lady.
she
I don't
is
know
a
what you're
wonderful
talking
woman.
about.
She is. No, she when I wrote Volcana, Rebirth of the Champion, available on Amazon, one of her questions was does chapter 39 is it supposed to make sense?
I love that part.
And I'm like, yes, damn it. And I went back and was like, she's right. So
See, I don't have that handicap. None of my stuff makes sense. It's fun.
that's your style.
no.
Yeah.
That one book I just finished about
Angie's
a week ago.
sweetheart.
On spot on every different take you did.
Yeah.
Thank you. There will be more.
Yeah.
My editor is demanding more.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
I don't want like that at home.
I think you mostly liked the review I gave you on one of the little stories where I said, "You bastard."
Yes, I remember that one.
one succeeded exceptionally well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Hunter, here's what I do. So, my critique partner is the first one. She's going through it with me, and we are talking back and forth about, does the plot line work? Am I staying in character when I'm talking about my main male character? Is he following through on something he would have done, or is he doing something completely out of character?
Mm-hmm.
So she's the first one. So then I hand it off to Carl and Donna, and they each do a little bit different, I would say, copy edits. Donna's looking for something. Carl's looking for something different. Carl's looking for maybe a little more of the, I don't understand what you meant. And
Yeah.
Donna's going, did you cross your T's and dot your I's?
Mhm.
And you don't, this isn't the proper way to use these two words together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I will notice things because I'm not in your genre. So maybe what I said earlier might not always be effective. Since I'm not in your genre, you'll say something in there and I'll go, okay, now explain this to me.
Right.
What do you mean by this? And, that makes you think about, well, okay, maybe a new reader wouldn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or I'm for some strange reason, I pick out things like, well, you had this character in chapter 3 and then he just disappeared.
Yeah. Where'd he go?
Yeah.
Or you
And
have
Michaela's like, "Whoa!"
comes in and you're like, wait, where'd he come from?
Yeah.
How did this guy get here?
That's the things I notice is
Yeah.
And that's
No,
good
no.
because I don't see it. I see what's in my head. I see the story play out and I'm like, okay, got it.
Yeah.
I forgot to write that part in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's another type of editor, Hunter, that I'm not saying is apropos for everything you write, but there's something I feel we should mention is called a sensitivity editor, in that someone who makes sure that you are portraying certain people in not necessarily a positive light, but not in a stereotypical, negatively stereotypical sort of personality or endeavor. Or, if you have friends that, for instance, my next book is dealing with race relations in the 1940s. And I have run certain parts of it through some of my friends who are people of color. And I value their feedback greatly on this. And if, you think that you might run the risk of offending somebody, and if you care about that sort of thing, which is another issue entirely, then no one present, but anyway, but no, a sensitivity editor might be someone that someone you trust very much. Run it past them, and take and listen to what they say. And that's another thing about editors. You're the last word.
Mm-hmm.
You can reject, because sometimes they just don't get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can completely
Thank you,
ignore it.
Grant. Thank you.
Yep.
See, you're sharing a brain. Get help immediately.
Because honestly, at the end of the day, your name is on that book.
Mm-hmm.
Your name is on that art. Whatever it ends up being, whatever you put out to the public, that's on you. Nobody comes back and says, oh, the editor on this sucked.
Exactly.
They come back at the author and they say, this book was not up to par.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the nicest thing they'll say.
Yeah. But you definitely want an editor because they'll find the mistakes before your readers do.
Yeah.
One of the things that
Thank
we
you, Joe
talk,
Dog.
yeah, talking about making more sales. The best way to make more sales is to write a good book in the first place.
Mhm.
Okay. So, when you're out there and you're selling books, if you have one book that you think this is great, and you have another book you think, don't put that one front and center on the table. Keep that one back. Maybe redo it a little bit, in the future if you get that chance. Bring it up to par with that other book, and but showcase that book that you really like, that everybody else seems to like. Sell that book first, and then wait for the orders of the other books, because they will look at your backlist. And one thing we learned with Donna's is be like the professionals and put down a list of your other books and where to find them in the back
In the
of the
book.
book.
Yes.
The back matter is very important. Yes.
Very important.
And put in there, because if you're indie, you can do this. Put in there, if you liked any part of this book, please give me your opinion. Leave me a review anywhere you want to. I don't care what platform. Leave me a review. Go to my website and tell me you liked it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and another thing that helps sales of books that I found, nothing sold my first book like my second.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I've
my
always
third
heard
sold
that.
my
I've always
second,
heard, write the
etc.
next book.
Yes, because because some people don't mind buying from what we'll call a hobbyist.
Mhm.
And there's nothing wrong with, if you think you've got one book in you and you're done, that's perfectly okay. But if you plan to do this professionally, in my opinion, while you're editing your current book, start working on the next one.
Yeah,
So,
I've always,
and
I've
thank
always
you,
got,
Hunter, for your great question.
I've always got 3 or 4 on the go at any one time.
So do I, yeah.
And some of them never get finished because they lose their way. But some of the others turn out to be really, really good.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Calvin.
Yeah, and don't lose any of those ideas. This morning I was watching somebody's show after Nevermind the Furthermore. I came up with an idea for another series. So, in a genre I don't write in.
Carl's getting a little pale.
Told you, help us with this.
Calvin's trying to find where Dan's voice is coming from. So,
I do have the effect sometimes, mostly on the female persuasion.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, guys, don't forget to like and then subscribe if you like what you're seeing, because honestly, I'll give you a little honesty here. I was thinking about getting rid of Tidbits and Scribbles because we don't have a lot of viewership. So if you know somebody that would benefit, or if you enjoy the show, let me know, because it's feedback that's needed. Because if we get nothing, if we get crickets, then why are we doing it? And it's the same with our books. If we get no reviews and it's crickets, some of us may never publish again. It doesn't mean we won't write, but to publish might not be worth it to us.
Yeah.
Well, it's like before indie publishing came along. That's why I have this backlog.
Yeah.
I wrote for myself because I didn't want to go through the pain of going through trying to find the publisher who publishes my genre, trying to send in a sassy, a self-addressed, self-stamped envelope, and then just getting it back with a form letter saying, nope, not today.
Yeah.
Then when you find out that there's certain days of the week where they pay a person to just sit there and take your story out of your envelope and put it in your sassy and then send it back with the form letter, and no one even looks at it.
No one even looks at it.
No one even looks at it.
Unfortunately.
That's why I'm like, okay, I'm just going to entertain myself with my stories. And then indie publishing came out.
Thank you,
One
Hunter.
of the nicest rejection letters I ever got was, "This is not in the genres that we normally publish, but it's really good. Keep trying. Send it someplace else, because this will sell eventually."
Yeah.
And
I will do that, Joe Dog. I will do that. I will check those numbers, but I had been checking and I hadn't really seen anything.
Talk to me after the show. I have some ideas.
And Grant brings up too what I told you
Something I'm
earlier.
gonna
The
do.
show is not that old. We've not been doing that this
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and it still goes along with the reviews. It's one of those, okay, I'm writing for myself. I'm doing this show now for us, really, and whoever decides to show up and ask questions, because we're always open to answer questions.
Right.
So it's one of those, well, maybe we'll hit on a genre that somebody likes and it'll go viral, and then somebody else will say, oh, well, I'll watch this show. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If you see any of us in person, we'll give advice, until they close the doors.
I know.
So,
We'll
yeah.
advice to the wall. We don't
Maybe
care.
it's just me.
Some of us have to be drug away in handcuffs.
Yeah,
Yes.
sometimes, yes.
Yes, exactly.
And Hunter, yes, a creative writing class. I'm sure all of us here have probably been in one.
Yeah.
I was an English major in college, which meant creative writing class every semester.
Okay. Yeah.
Even though, okay, that's kind of what that other class went over, but still, it was something. It was something to keep me writing while I was in college and while I was waiting tables and doing stuff that just suck your soul dry.
Yeah, I was doing architecture and interior design as a college student, and one of the things I had to take was an English course.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
So I picked a creative writing class, and it was one of the most fun things I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
Well, and that's, for me, writing is a blast. Like the other day I wrote, what was it? When I was done, I was bragging about it. It was like 5,000 words or something, or 5,200 words.
Mhm.
But it was because I was having fun.
Yeah.
I wasn't slogging through and trying to make a story happen. I love writing these damn stories because it's like, okay, life sucks. The outside world kind of sucks. Everybody's got bills to pay. Everybody's got something going on. I can sit here and make up a story completely from my imagination and live in that story. So hopefully, then my readers will live in that story and escape for a little while.
Right. Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I'm such a slow writer, because I have to wait until I am having fun, and then the words it's like a fire hose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's what happened. My critique partner, she said, the front of Warrior's Honor is a little bit slow right now. I'm like, well, okay. I had a person review Warrior's Trust that way, that it started out a little bit slow. And I was like, well, okay, I didn't think so, but something to fix. Because when I get my rights back for Secret, my plan is to go back through and redo all the covers, because I have to. So we'll redo the covers. I'll redo some of the writing, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, for me, the writing part's fun.
Yeah. I think Warrior Secret started out very dramatically.
I thought so.
Yeah.
And so all of us who read your next two books expect now a dramatic, if a castle isn't on fire, we're like, what the heck?
Hey, where's the pirate ship looming over the horizon?
That was good enough,
So
his best friend wakes him up. He throws an axe at his best friend through the door. Like, I figured that would be enough. Yeah. No, apparently not.
Too much is never enough.
I know. Yeah. I should have hit his best friend in the head with the axe. That would have been better.
Gets his attention.
Missed the mark.
I've got one that starts off. Jamaica was supposed to be a cakewalk. The next bit of it is somebody jumps out of an alley and tries to beat this guy up, and he has to fight for his life. And he fights dirty.
Ooh, that's the best one. I like it.
Yes, and it just went boom. That one went really quickly.
Yeah, that's awesome, Hunter.
That is
congratulations,
very awesome.
Hunter.
Very good.
Super,
very
super.
nice.
And thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that's what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, Skunk.
Of course, Skunk.
True that.
Yeah, I apologize for the loud noise that was occurring back here.
Oh, we
But-
didn't even hear it. Or
Oh,
I did.
good.
Yeah.
Calvin the kitten decided he was going to do a review on some old books I have
Oh.
on the shelf back here, but he was standing on a box that wasn't very well balanced. He and the books all took a tumble.
Tumbled. No, we didn't even
Yeah.
hear it.
This is how they learn.
Yep.
And Calvin takes after his mommy Donna in being very clumsy. He is not graceful.
I think I've just read his review. He says these books taste great.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, Hunter, I've been writing since I was in junior high and never thought about publishing. And then our local papers, when I was a senior in high school, our local paper says, you've got a creative writing class in your school, send some of your student stuff in. And I got 3 different poems that throughout that school year published. And I'm like, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We had I don't remember what it was, but it was a poetry contest. And then my librarian, she said, hey, I found this thing called the National Library of Poetry. I don't know what it is, but look into it. Well, come to find out it's a scam. But back then, I didn't know that. But I sent my poem and they were like, okay, if you want to get this book, send us $24. So I've got this giant tome of poetry, but it's got my poem in it. So
I've got that same book.
Yeah. Growing up in poverty, like, I'm a published author,
It
I
counts.
didn't know any better.
It counts.
It's a
Like,
credit.
it does.
It's a credit. Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah, you
so
take it.
that kind of gave me the bug, and I'd already had Secret started, and I'd already kind of played with the story a little bit. So yeah, you could say back in junior high is when I actually started Warrior Secret.
Mhm.
And then when I gave it to the first publisher I gave it to, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we want it now." I'm like, oh, aren't you supposed to reject it? Aren't
Like
you supposed to say
57
no?
times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like
So-
John Creasy, the British crime author, who word has it his first manuscript was rejected something like 750 times.
Well, and
And
Stephen
if he got one more, he was going to quit writing.
Yeah, and Stephen King threw away Carrie. Come on
Yeah,
now.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
My wife tells me that story all the time. His wife dug the manuscript out of the
Out of the trash.
can,
Yep.
read it through, and convinced him to give it another shot.
Well, and because you never know, like Donna was saying, it could be something as simple as they have a day where they have people just take that out of that envelope, put it in this envelope, send it. They don't look at it.
Mm-hmm.
That's like I was doing some research on book reviews, and I found out that the New York Times bestseller list is kind of jacked. But if you want a chance and you've got a little extra cash and you can send a book or 2 or 3 every couple months, send them a book. Because not only does it go to the people that are supposed to review it for the website and the newspaper, it then goes into circulation for all the people in the office. There's a chance, and I'm sorry, but if you're not in that mode of there's a chance, it's never going to happen for you.
Mhm.
Or at least it might not. Let me put it that way. Might not happen. Because you've got to be just that tenacious because other people are.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
the cookie is waiting there for somebody to get it. Might as well be you.
Well, and another thing is the USA Today will read and review independently published books. But the thing is, they also base a lot of what they will read on certain websites like Amazon and Smashwords.
Mhm.
But if you can promote yourself and get your pre-orders up to a certain level, then they might take a look at it. I have one friend who almost made it, and I have one friend who did make the USA Today review page. And once you're there, it's like they can't take that credit away from you. It's
Well, and one of the awesome things about the internet is once your name is out there, it's out there.
yeah.
And that's why sometimes we're very careful about what we put out there because we know it's there. Our kids are going to see it. Our grandkids will see it. Like it's there. So the more people that know you, the more your name is out there, the wider spread you get. Like, just keep talking to people.
Mhm.
Just keep sending your work in. Send an essay, send an article, whatever. Get
Yeah,
your name
and
out there.
if you get some kind of recognition, don't be afraid to use it, because the book that Donna just read, when it was first published, it was nominated for a J.W. Campbell Award, which is one step down from a Hugo. And
Yeah.
I don't capitalize on that, and I should.
You should.
Yes,
Yes.
you should. Yeah.
Well, maybe when it's reissued with the new edit with the new publisher, I will get that included in the
Don't maybe.
the
Don't
forward.
maybe.
Oh yeah.
Do
Well,
it.
I mean, it's just all I got to do is tell the publisher, hey, this thing was nominated.
Yeah.
Didn't win, but it was nominated. That's pretty good.
Always put that
Ride on
in.
that. It was nominated shit. Write it.
I
They're gonna write it.
I saw a commercial for a pillow,
Mhm.
and this guy says, "Hi, I'm so and so. I was I think it was Arkansas governor and 2016 presidential nominee."
Yeah. Nominee. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Oh, look
But
at the
he-
Academy
but he's-
Awards.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. They even do it when they walk up on stage to get an award. Oh, this person's been nominated 19 times for the same award. They finally got it tonight. Now, that's not how they say it, but that's what they said.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's an honor to be even, considered.
Yeah.
So, you need to capitalize. on that.
That's a bit of actual complimentary praise that I have not taken advantage of, because
Yeah.
basically I have the handicap of not wanting to put myself out there and promote the way I should.
Do you have that fear of success?
No, I have that fear of people going, yeah, right.
Ah.
Those
Like your
people
bad-
spur me on.
Yeah.
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 I'm fueled by spite.
I've got a comic book, not a comic book. I've got a comedic book that I'm writing. Well, I already have written it. It will be out sometime in the next couple of years. And on the back cover, I am going to put, I was not nominated for a Hugo Award. I was not nominated. I'm going to list all these things I was not nominated for, because I thought that was funny. It will bring all that up, and the names will be there. But it was like, no, I didn't get this. I didn't get that. Sorry.
That's like those biographies at the end of the book that start out with multimillionaire, internet pirate. James can spell all of these words and more.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. Yes,
Skunk.
Skunk.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we all are. Because,
Yeah.
I was going to say, growing up, I was told repeatedly, and by the closest family members, you can't, you're not good enough, you never will be, you shouldn't try, because it probably won't happen.
Right.
What the hell?
Yeah.
And then I met a whole new group of people and a whole new group of family, and they were like, why not?
Mhm.
Give it a try. Have you
What
tried?
have you got to lose?
Yes, and that was the other
Exactly.
thing. Now that I have the, and that's what I mentioned earlier, what my husband said. Now that I have the backup, now I'm confident enough to go, I'll step off that ledge. Okay, watch me go.
Sure.
Yeah, and something I learned back when I was with Amway, the Amway Corporation, they used to ask us constantly, would you rather pay the price for success or the price of regret?
Well, yeah, and that's me. Is I never want to leave this earth thinking, man, if only I'd have done that one thing.
Exactly.
If only I'd have tried just a little bit harder.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I don't want.
Right.
Exactly. Because what we're doing is we're building a legacy, especially with the technology now. A book will technically never go out of print unless we want it to.
Right, unless we pull it. Yeah.
Unless we pull it. And, like I said, about 3 weeks, I'm currently a Pulp Factory Award nominee.
Yeah.
If I win that award, I will become insufferable.
That's okay.
You will get sick of hearing my name if you aren't already. And
I was going to say, how could
block button? It's fine.
yeah. Well, you know, and it's one of those things. I agree with you. You know, it's an honor to be nominated. And in fact, when Charles F. Milhouse said, "Hey, congratulations on your nomination," I'm like, "Yeah, right. What? What are you talking about?" And he said, "Pulp Factory." I'm like, "No, really. What are you talking about, man? I didn't quite believe it until I saw the official notice." So.
Probably not. Might not. I can't.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah. Joe's comment about that being a good idea.
Yeah, yeah, there we go. Isn't actually a bad idea. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, because some people do look, like for movies, they look for Emmy or like Oscar award winners.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, and anything you can do to get the algorithms on your site, especially since Amazon and Google and Facebook and Instagram kind of feed off each other.
Yes.
So the more you can do in any one of them, you're kind of planting the seeds in another platform as well.
Right. And one of the things that I do, I don't watch or read or study things that are just book related. So I'm watching entrepreneurs. I'm watching these guys that are making multi-million-dollar deals in real estate because they're driven. In fact, because of one of them, I met a girl who is a barrel racer. And she's got a thing. She does a YouTube channel. She has a media presence, whatever. The girl is driven, and she will tell you there are a whole bunch of people in the barrel racing community that have better horses, that train harder, that are better than she is. What's the difference? She doesn't know. She's like, I just do what I do, and this is how it happens. Yeah. She shows you her failures. She shows you her success. She's just like, this is me. This is what I do. Yeah. But I'm not going to stop just because I'm not the best. And if I become the best, great. But I want somebody challenging me. Because then what's it for? If I'm winning all the time, what's it for? Exactly. Challenge me. Come with me. Let's go. Let's compete. So yeah, it's don't box yourself in to just like, oh, I'm a writer, I got to study writing. Or I'm an artist, I better just study art. No. And one of the things that I was learning from these guys that I've watched is there's one guy out there, and I'm wishy-washy on his terms, on his ideas, but he says, if it's free, why are you not marketing? Instagram, Tumblr, whatever, Facebook, Twitch, everything that you can market on for free, why are you not doing it?
Exactly.
Seriously, why are you not doing it?
Exactly.
He says, I put out a newsletter and we did it once a month. And then we upped it to twice a month. And then we went every week. He says, and then my team came back to me and they said, you know, we're getting a lot of pushback. They say that we're too pushy. He said, good, let's do it twice a week. And they came to him again. They said, man, we lost 400 subscribers, you know. And he's like, well, good. Let's do it 3 times a week. Because his theory was brute force marketing, basically. The more people that know about you, the more people that are going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm on board. Okay. There are millions of people on this planet. What, you pissed off 4,000? Big deal. Like, keep going. So it's one of those, you watch that and you're like, ugh. I've always been told build relationships with my readers and be this nice person. And then there's that marketing person. And it's like, how do I do this? So you got to find the happy medium that works for you. Right. Because for me, yeah, I could go, you know, like that guy. I could promote and go nuts with it. But at the end of the day, I'm exhausted. And I don't have that good connection with readers that I really want. So is my climb going to be slower? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a whole lot more enjoyable.
One of the things on your newsletter, you also put in little tidbits of facts that aren't related to your books or aren't related to you. Yeah. Which is a nice little break for somebody who's thinking, it's going to be another ad.
Books and more books. Yep.
All about Michaela. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, here's okay. Yeah,
those little tidbits are adult rated.
Yes, they are. He
That
said
doesn't
happily.
hurt. That doesn't hurt.
No,
Yeah.
no, and because
Yeah.
it's in an email, nobody sees it but you that's opening it. There's not a big picture blaring at you. There's no music. So even if you opened it at work, you're just reading an article, you know. So yeah, hopefully that's a little twist on it that people are like, oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, and that's one of the nice things about your newsletter, and something I'm striving for in my own, is it sounds like you.
Yeah.
When I first started writing my
Yes.
newsletter, it sounded very academic.
Oh.
And I realized it after time, so I took a few months off and then came back, and now I, instead of like laboring over it and, is this right? Is it, I do a mild edit on it, but it's mostly first draft. And it's what's in my head at that time. And then I edit to take out all the extraneous stuff. And I'm trying to talk about myself less and less. Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's the balance. Your readers want to know about you and what's going on in your life.
Yeah.
But they also want something different. Something. Why am I opening this newsletter? Why do I look forward to it every month?
That's why I put videos in.
Mm-hmm.
And I get a lot of positive feedback about it. So
yeah, each of us has our own individual voice that has nothing to do with what we write. It's our personality. It's how we are ourselves. And if we can bring that into a newsletter, and just it's not quite, but almost as good as having a conversation with somebody live in person.
Yeah, and a lot of times with my newsletter, I can say to my fans, I said that book was going to be out in April, but here's what happened. Whereas on Facebook, they might scroll past it. They might be like, oh, that's more drama. Well, no, it's not really drama. It really is why that book is now still in production.
Right.
But a newsletter, for me, I think it's more, I try to make it personal, and I try to make it, you're going to get just the brass tacks of what you need to know. And we'll move on. That's it.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm looking for more comments. Yeah. Hunter says it's like Dory, just keep swimming.
Oh, yes, definitely. Especially if you're swimming upstream and it's harder.
Oh, my God,
Just
yes.
keep going.
Yeah.
Drone number 3, keep moving.
And good luck cheating the algorithms, because none of us can figure them out. The article I was reading today about marketing that had 116 ways to market your book. Above that was an article about algorithms and how Amazon has changed them now. Now you have to get 115 or 116. There's some sort of goofy number. Like, really? Really? Quit moving the goalpost.
Yeah, and what was it 2 years ago? It was get 25 on any of your books. You were on easy street. Now the problem is with the algorithms is that there is a subsection of the creative community that try to game the system.
Yeah.
And they don't take the time to build an audience and build a following. Brandon Sanderson right now is setting records for his Kickstarter on his books. But how long has he been in the field? How long has he been churning out quality work? Yeah. So he's earned it. He's totally earned it. Good,
Yay,
Skunk. Thank you.
Home.
Yay, Skunk.
Joe was talking about cheating the algorithm. That comment was not nominated for Hugo.
The X Award. Yeah.
And
it is. It's a way to catch the algorithms, to cheat the algorithms. But then again, other people are doing it. Maybe. I'm on the fence on that one. Like, maybe it's not right, but
yeah, I'm just doing it for comedic effect.
Yeah.
And to get people to go, oh, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
This guy is proud of how bad his writing was. No.
Yeah. But if it's written correctly, they may just skim over it and not actually read was not nominated for, because they'll see USA Today bestseller or whatever the award was. And for me, I don't pick a book up because it was a USA Today bestseller.
No.
Never. Now I'll pick it up if the guy is hot on the cover. Like, I'm gonna pick that book up. you know.
That's
Or if I
weird
flip
with
that book
me.
over and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Make a note. Okay.
Yeah, write it down, Carl. You may need to know this
I
later.
might need that.
Hot guys on the cover. See? Hot guys.
I'm gonna need a stand-in.
That depends on who you ask on that one, Dan.
That's okay. The next model for my next book, I actually contacted him and was like, because he has a YouTube channel and he has a lot of his modeling videos there. And I was like, do you happen to have one of you walking away from the camera? And he was like, I don't know. I'll check. Turns out he doesn't. But what I was wanting was when he walks away, do his shoulders move just right? Do his hips move? How does he walk? Does he walk straight-legged? Right. So I was trying to use him as a muse for the character I'm writing. And it's fun that sometimes you can build those relationships and say, hey, do you happen to have that video? No, dang it. So much for
I'm
trying.
not going to explain what I know Carl is doing.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it needs explanation.
Yeah.
And this is
Well,
why-
I hope that we were helpful to people tonight.
Yes, I think we were. I think we covered a lot of ground, actually.
Yeah.
I think we're helpful to people every week when we do this. It's just sometimes it feels like the broadcast is getting blocked, or it's just going out into the ether and you don't get any feedback. But when you get feedback, you find out, hey, people appreciate this.
Well,
Right.
my own shows, wax and wane as far as readership goes or viewership goes, and you just, I get somebody say, I couldn't get through my morning without you, and then I still am carrying quite a bit of goodwill from 2 years ago,
Yeah.
So. But
Well,
anyway, Hunter has a question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hunter's asking,
Good
what are
ideas
good
for
ideas for
cover
cover art? Anything specific come to mind? It depends.
It depends on the story itself. If the
Oh,
cover
yeah.
doesn't have anything to do with the story, no matter how beautiful it is, it's not good cover art for that story.
Right. I've got tons of fantasy art that I don't know the artist, so I can't use it on my book. Now, if I ever meet up with that artist and I'm like, hey, can I use it on my book? And I get the rights and permissions, yes. But then again, some of that art isn't good for a book cover because when you shrink it down and then you make it a thumbnail, you lose some of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hunter, I would say the best thing to do, because every genre has its own conventions about what comprises a good cover. Shop around and find someone who does it professionally. Like for instance, I'm going to mention my guy, Plasma Fire Graphics. Find somebody with a track record. Don't be afraid to even, like, you see a cover that you like, write to the publisher, or frequently the cover artist is credited and they probably have an online presence. Reach out to that person and know that prices are negotiable and you don't have to spend a lot to get a lot.
Right.
So keep that in mind
somebody
too.
Starting out and you like their work, they're going to want you to help them out.
Oh, yeah.
But nobody works for exposure.
Sometimes, and sometimes it just happens. This was my first one with the silhouette and the gun sight on it, and it went very well. So I'm like, okay, let's do the second one, and made it slightly different with the guy threatening BJ and Carly, and then the third one was family, so we added family around it. And my last one, In the Name of the Father, this is actually my great niece and her son.
Yeah,
that we took a picture and Carl made a silhouette out of it. Because that's part of the story. BJ is accused of being this old girlfriend's baby father. And that's become my shtick with Hunter's Ridge.
Which kind of fits in with the story because they are a contrast. The couple that's in there are a contrast. He's from the country, she's from the city. They have different ways of doing things. And the gentleman that's the main hero of that sees the world in black and white. He's very by the book, and this is right and this is wrong. And she's like more of a gray, I think, kind of person. And so that leads to their marital issues sometimes.
Right.
But that works well with that book.
Mm-hmm.
So you want it to match your book, and you want to have something that you can, if you're going to have, oh, poor skunk.
Oh,
Dang it, skunk.
If you're going to have more than one in the series too, think about that, because like Donna said, she liked that first one and she continued on with it. Michaela's had books that now we on the second and third, we had to match the exact font that was on the first book, and we didn't quite get it. I know it bothers her to this day. We got pretty darn close.
Right. And that's I could look at it like, oh man, they don't match. But I know that in 2 years, I think it is, I get the rights back to Secret, and I have to change the cover. Yeah. So when that happens, I can change covers to the other ones too, make them all freaking match. Ta-da!
Yeah. There you go.
So what's 2 years out of my life?
And if that's
you can do your own.
Yeah.
Like
if that's the worst problem you have.
This was a photograph that we took because the heroine in the book was in a wheelchair and got abducted. So we took a wheelchair out, laid it by the side of a van, which is supposed to look like a white limo, and took that picture.
Heck yeah!
And it worked.
Yeah.
Yep. I've got one. The entire story was prompted by an internet meme with a photograph. And because I cannot find the photographer to give them credit,
right, you can't use it.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to do an oil painting of the photograph.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Now that I can do legally.
Yeah.
Inspired by somebody I don't know. I wish I did.
Right. I have an image on my Pinterest, and everything to find me is author Michaela Jade. It's not Michaela Jade, it's author Michaela Jade. So even on Pinterest. But on my Pinterest board, one of them is inspiration. And I found the perfect couple, the perfect picture for a book cover. Can't use it. I cannot find it anywhere except on Pinterest.
Yeah.
Nowhere. I can't find a photographer's name. I can't find an artist's name. Nothing.
Yeah.
I went on the Wayback Machine and tried to dig up the first appearance of this photograph, and it was uncredited when it first appeared.
Oh man.
Well, I've got the photograph. I am an artist. So, I've been wanting to do an oil painting for years now.
And there you go.
I'm out of practice, so I'm gonna pick up the brushes and go for it.
I was just gonna mention, do you know an artist?
Yeah.
This was done by Ted Davis of Ted Davies Artistry for me.
Yeah.
You've got lots of avenues for book covers.
Yeah, and also Google has improved their searchability on photographs and images to where you can click and drag an image towards the search bar, and the search bar will expand to allow you to drop that picture in, and then it will search for the images there. Yeah, it's gotten a lot better than it was in the past. So.
I do that a lot for the flowers in my greenhouse. If I've got something I'm not sure what it's called.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because sometimes something grows and you're like, I don't remember what I planted in that pot.
It's good to know these things.
I'm just going to take a picture and see what Google says it is.
One of the reasons I want to do this painting is that the actual photograph is just 2 characters. And I am going to do all the background that goes along with the story. And the 2 characters are going to be front and center on the cover, but the world building that I've done is going to be inspiring the rest of it. It's you might recognize the photograph, but it's going to have a far different background than what you've ever seen before. And it's going to be hand painted by me. And that's, you know,
That's awesome.
it's
Yeah,
it's
I
it's
can't do
one of those
that.
things. It's like when I'm doing a YouTube video of something, and I put my own music in it so I don't get a copyright strike.
Mhm.
I write the music. You know, it's just something I do. It's
Yeah.
just one of those fun things that I do. I'm not just a one-trick pony. There's a lot of stuff in there, but it's I don't even think about it. It's just
Yeah.
part of me.
Mhm.
And
My daughter did this one, and she gave up. She's like, "No, I'm done."
Yeah. Well,
She-
it's
she's got
good.
she's got a whole bunch of paintings,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Okay, I'll keep them." She's gonna throw them away. I'm like, the hell you are? No,
Yeah.
never mind. So now I've got 3 or 4 on my wall. She's got lilies and backgrounds, and I'm like, I may take a picture of that one day and use it on a book cover. I don't know.
There you go. There you go.
Friday night, I was talking to Keisha while she was doing a painting.
Yeah.
Saturday, she's got it posted all over Facebook when she
Heck yeah.
finished it.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
Drive safe, skunk. We'll
Yeah,
be
be-
thinking about you.
Sorry.
Brother.
I hope you're getting overtime pay for
Oh,
that.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding. I hope you
Double
do.
time.
So-
That's unreal.
Well,
Okay.
well, that's
We have been doing this an hour and a half, just about, guys. So I am going to end it here.
all
We
right.
have gone over a ton of stuff. If
No,
anyone
we
has
need
any
to talk for the
questions-
next 8 hours.
Yeah, no kidding. But if you have questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll pop back in, and these guys can pop back in and answer anything you've got for us. But we will say good night.
Thank
Good
you,
night,
Hunter.
everybody.
Well, thanks.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Bye bye.
Be creative and don't be afraid.
Yeah.